In a hushed courtroom, where the weight of justice hung heavy, 24-year-old Emily Harper sat trembling, her sightless eyes brimming with tears that spilled down her cheeks. The murmurs of the crowd grew silent as her sobs echoed. A young woman caught in a legal storm she couldn't see but could feel crushing her. Accused of a crime that seemed unimaginable, her world was unraveling until the soft click of paws entered the room. Her guide dog, Max, stepped forward, and with him came a revelation so startling it would turn the case upside down, exposing a truth no one saw coming. Emily Harper had always lived in a world of sounds, smells, and touch. Born blind, she built a life of quiet resilience in the small town of Willow Creek, where the hum of daily life was her canvas. She navigated the world with Max, a golden retriever whose steady presence was her anchor. At 24, Emily was known for her gentle voice, her work at the local library, and her uncanny ability to read people through their tone and words. But now, in the summer of 2025, she sat in a courtroom, accused of something unthinkable, fraud and embezzlement from the very library she loved.
The prosecution painted a damning picture. They claimed Emily had siphoned thousands of dollars from the library's funds, manipulating digital records to cover her tracks. The evidence was technical: bank transactions, email trails, and login records, all pointing to her. The small town, once her sanctuary, now buzzed with whispers of betrayal. How could Emily, the blind girl who read Braille to children, have done this? Her tears in the courtroom weren't just from fear, but from the sting of disbelief. She trusted those around her, and now they doubted her. Emily's voice quivered as she spoke to her attorney, Sarah Bennett, a sharp but empathetic woman in her 40s. "I don't understand, Sarah. I've never even accessed the library's financial system. I just organize books and help with the reading programs." Her hands fidgeted, clutching the edge of the wooden table, her knuckles pale. Max wasn't with her today. Courtroom rules had separated them, leaving her feeling unmoored. Sarah leaned close, her voice steady. "We'll figure this out, Emily. The truth is on your side." The prosecution's case rested on a series of transactions linked to Emily's name. A bank account, opened under her identity, had received deposits traced to the library's budget. Emails, supposedly sent from her work computer, authorized the transfers. The login records showed her credentials used at odd hours, times when Emily swore she was home, asleep, with Max curled at her feet. The prosecutor, a stern man named Gregory Holt, pressed hard. "Miss Harper, are you suggesting someone else used your credentials?" A blind woman, unaware of her own account activity. His tone dripped with skepticism, and the jury shifted uncomfortably. Emily's response was soft but firm. "I don't know how it happened, but I didn't do this. I don't even manage my own bank account without help. Max and we live simply. I don't need much." The jury listened, but their faces were hard to read. Sarah had warned her. The technical evidence was convincing, and Emily's disability made some jurors question her vulnerability, not her innocence. They needed more than her word. The trial had stretched over days, each one heavier than the last. Emily's life was laid bare: her routines, her reliance on others, her trust in the library staff. She'd worked there for 3 years, hired by the head librarian, Margaret Wells, a woman who'd treated her like a daughter. Margaret had testified, her voice cracking, saying she couldn't believe Emily was capable of such deceit. Yet the numbers didn't lie, she'd said, her eyes avoiding Emily's direction. Other coworkers, like Tom Grayson, the library's tech specialist, had been vaguer, mumbling about system glitches, but offering no defense. On the 5th day, the courtroom was packed. The prosecution was wrapping up, and Emily felt the weight of judgment closing in. Her tears came unbidden, not from guilt but from exhaustion. She missed Max, his warm fur against her hand, his steady breathing that grounded her. Sarah squeezed her arm. "Stay strong, Emily. We're not done yet." But Emily's hope was fraying. The prosecution's final witness, a forensic accountant, droned on about metadata and IP addresses, terms that felt like a foreign language to her. The jury's silence was deafening. Then came a sound that cut through the haze, a familiar jingle of tags, the the soft pad of paws on the hardwood floor. The courtroom doors had opened, and Max entered, led by a court officer. Emily's head lifted, her face shifting from despair to recognition. "Max," she whispered, her voice breaking. The judge, a no-nonsense woman named Clara Evans, raised an eyebrow but allowed it. Sarah had fought for this moment, arguing that Max was more than a pet. He was Emily's eyes, her partner, and perhaps her salvation. Max moved to Emily's side, his nose nudging her hand. She stroked his fur, her tears slowing. The officer explained that Max had been brought in at Sarah's request, following a hunch that had surfaced the night before. Sarah stood, addressing the court. "Your Honor, we have new evidence that requires immediate consideration. It involves Ms. Harper's guide dog, Max, and his role in her daily life." The prosecutor objected, calling it a stunt, but Judge Evans overruled. "Proceed, Ms. Bennett. But this better be relevant." Sarah's voice was calm but commanding. "Emily relies on Max for navigation, but he's also trained to respond to specific cues, sounds, movements, even changes in her environment. Last night, we reviewed security footage from the library, footage the prosecution didn't highlight. It shows something critical." She signaled to the court officer, who set up a projector. The room dimmed, and grainy footage appeared on a screen. It showed the library's office at night, empty except for a figure at Emily's desk, typing rapidly. The timestamp matched one of the incriminating logins. The figure wasn't Emily. It was Tom Grayson, the tech specialist. The footage showed him using her computer, his movements furtive. But the real shock came next. Max, who was often with Emily at the library, appeared in the frame. He barked sharply, a sound Emily knew well. It was his alert for something wrong. Tom flinched, shooing Max away, but the dog stayed, growling softly. The footage cut off, but it was enough. The courtroom buzzed, and Emily's grip on Max tightened. "He knew," she whispered. "Max knew something was wrong." Sarah pressed forward. "Max's behavior prompted us to dig deeper. We subpoenaed Tom Grayson's personal devices, and with the court's permission, we'd like to present what we found." Judge Evans nodded, and Sarah handed over a report. It detailed deleted files recovered from Tom's laptop, drafts of the fraudulent emails, scripts to automate the bank transfers, and a digital footprint linking him to the account in Emily's name. Tom had access to her credentials, her desk, her trust. He'd exploited her blindness, assuming no one would suspect him. The prosecutor's face paled as Sarah continued. Tom Grayson framed Emily Harper, knowing her disability would make her an easy target. He used her login, her computer, her identity. But he didn't account for Max, who sensed something off and reacted. That footage and Max's response led us to the truth. The jury leaned forward, their doubts shifting. Emily's tears had stopped, replaced by a quiet strength. Max sat alert at her feet, his presence a testament to their bond. Tom was called back to the stand. His earlier confidence was gone, his answers halting. I was just fixing her computer," he stammered, but the evidence was overwhelming. The deleted files, the footage, Max's reaction, it all pointed to him. The prosecution tried to pivot, but the damage was done. Judge Evans called for a recess, and the courtroom emptied, leaving Emily, Sarah, and Max in a quiet huddle. Emily's voice was steady now. "I knew I didn't do it, but I didn't know how to prove it. Max, he's always been my eyes." Sarah smiled, resting a hand on her shoulder. "He's more than that, Emily. He's your truth." The trial resumed, and the jury deliberated for only 2 hours. When they returned, the foreman's voice was clear. Not guilty. The courtroom erupted in murmurs, some relieved, others stunned. Emily exhaled, her hand buried in Max's fur. Tom Grayson was detained for further questioning, his own trial looming. The town of Willow Creek would grapple with its misjudgment, but Emily felt no bitterness. She had Max, her freedom, and a truth that had been uncovered not by sight, but by loyalty.